full transparency and accountability for ourselves. We definitely spent more than we would have planned to spend in the month of August. Hello and welcome back to our channel. I definitely want to first say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to our channel. We just hit 500. We're super excited. We started this channel when we were 2 years into our mortgage payoff journey. And now as of September, we are 3 years in. So super excited. We love documenting this whole journey. I really wouldn't have it any other way. So if you are not already subscribed, definitely subscribe and join us for this mortgage payoff journey. If this is your first time watching our videos, we recap every single month with us being on a mortgage payoff journey. We talk about everything we accomplished in the prior month, and as I'm filming this video, it is September, so we are recapping August today. If you see me looking down, I'm just referring to notes for the month of August. We had a lot going on. In the month of August, we actually paid the least amount of money to our mortgage that we've actually paid this entire year. Our minimum that we want to send to the mortgage every month, we left it at that, which is $4,500 a month. That of course includes our minimum payment of $1,070. We brought our mortgage balance from $114,980 to $110,767. I don't know why 110,000 has me super excited, but that just feels like it's so close to 100,000. Like that is crazy. Just knowing where we even started, even at the beginning of 2023, I remember our balance was at 147,449, I believe, at January 1st. And knowing that now, as I'm filming this video at recapping August, being at 110,000 and being on track to hit 5 figures by November, that is crazy. It just gets closer and closer and more real every month. Just seeing the balance decrease. Like if I ever need motivation for staying on track or just anything, all I have to do is look at that balance, look at where we were even last month or the beginning of the month, and just knowing that we have come so far. Being 3 years in and knowing that our balance started at 254,000, that is over 140,000 cut off of our balance in 3 years. So I just really can't ask for much more. Super thankful for everything we've been able to do. We are regular people with regular incomes. I mean, we definitely are blessed and thankful to be a double income household, but just knowing that there's people who make our household income like as a single income, like that's out there. We know that's out there. So we know that we're just doing the best we can with the income that we have. There's a lot of people out there that wonder how we're able to do what we do, want to do what we've been able to do. I know that if we can do it, other people can do it too. And I know that sounds so cliche. People say that all the time, but it's definitely the truth. I know that we wouldn't be where we are today with our mortgage without first getting rid of consumer debt. And I know that's not the norm. I know that's not what people like to do and what people believe in, but that's just the number one step with us. We had all the payments that we used to have before paying off our consumer debt. I know that we would not be where we are today with our mortgage and with being as close as we are. I know that the 24 months that we have left, or that is left in our plan, it probably sounds like a long time for a lot of people, but these past 3 years that we've been in this house have gone by so quickly. I know that the rest of it is going to go just as fast. So my mindset is that this next 24 months is going to go by regardless of if we pay off our house or if we don't pay off our house. So why not make the extra effort to pay it off early? So just in the month of August, we actually brought our scheduled end date from February of 2034 to August of 2033. Obviously, we don't plan to pay it off in 2033, but just knowing that we subtracted 6 months from our scheduled end date in just 1 month, so much progress. It just shows you what you can do when you just really take everything you can and throw it at the debt. That's where it can get you just in a short amount of time. I know that us hitting the ground running is really what helped us a lot with how interest is charged with mortgages and things like that, and how interest is front loaded. And at the beginning of you paying on your debt, that's actually typically for any debt, you're paying most of your interest up front. Deciding to pay as much as you can at the beginning of the loan helps you so much when it comes to interest. With looking at our schedule table right now, with where we're at in paying August of 2023, where our balance should have been at this point is $239,000, whereas it's at $110,000 right now. And the amount of monthly interest we should have been paying was $597 at this point. The amount of monthly interest that we paid in the month of August was $287. That is over $300 less than what we were scheduled to be paying in the month of August. That alone is something that can get you super excited. I knew before we even got a house, and I was just running numbers, and I saw that if we were to pay the minimum the entire 30 years, the amount of interest that we would pay alone, just interest, would be the cost of a house within itself. And I know that a lot of people think that you should pay your minimum payment for 30 years and leave it at that. But in order for me to make more money doing something else, I would first have to think about over the $100,000 that I need to save elsewhere in order for it to be worth it to not pay off my house. And at this point, trying to pay off our house is just so second nature to me. I have no interest in doing anything else. So like I said, in the month of August, $287 went to interest, $4,212 went to principal. So like I said, we're coming up on 5 figures. We're expecting to hit that in November. I know we've been talking about what we're gonna do to celebrate, like how we're gonna celebrate. It's such a huge milestone. I think we've decided now that we are going to possibly go to an NBA game. I mentioned it once to my husband and he said, oh, that's it, that's what we're gonna do. So that's our plan. We'll see what happens. I guess my only thing is just typically NBA games are in the evening. We have kids, you know, the plan would be to take them unless there's something else we can work out as far as like a sitter, something like that. I know a lot of people who have kids, they have a village. Like a lot of people say it takes a village to raise a child. We don't have a village, we do it all by ourselves. So that makes it hard to really try to celebrate in a way that we could really enjoy it and do something on our own. So we'll see what happens. It's probably gonna be somewhere around December that we decide to actually do this celebration. And we'll just see what happens, but we definitely plan to make that leap and enjoy ourselves and have a good time, really celebrate. Since last season, I was super into basketball, and obviously my husband is. It's just something that we both would be able to do to have a great time and just make it a memorable experience, and just a little bit of foreshadowing for what we want to do in the future after the house is actually fully paid off. Other things for August, $79.16 accumulated in cash back in the month of August, and $75.18 in interest paid to us from our high yield savings account. If you don't have a high yield savings account, get one. When it comes to overtime and things like that, I did do my usual 10 hours of overtime per pay for the first part of August. The last couple of weeks of August, I did not. So if you haven't already seen the video where I talk about some work issues I've been having, definitely check that out. We'll have it linked in the description. But still definitely something I'm struggling with. I know I had said that I wanted to be in a different position within 30 days. 30 days is come and gone, and I am still in the same position. So I know it's going to be a learning experience at the end of the day. I definitely know that I'm going to look back at this and just know that I learned something from it, and I learned to value myself and put myself first more, because I definitely haven't been doing that for a while. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going above and beyond for your job, but it definitely just got past the point of that. And as you guys know, definitely was impacting my mental health. It just made it so I was just a little bit honestly miserable when doing overtime, because I'm just so burnt out at this point. So I had planned to do overtime at least the second to last week of August. And at that point, I decided to stop and just kind of figured that, hey, I have to make something work as far as income goes in September, because I already am taking off the 1st of September until the second week of September. And so with taking PTO, obviously I'm not doing overtime. And so that already makes our income a little bit less. And then it's just at this point, it's just getting to the point where, you know, it doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like my mental health has to come first at this time. So yes, I did not do as much overtime as I planned in August, but we're still gonna make things work, and maybe Dennis will just pick up an extra shift, something to just make sure that we are getting the money that we need to take care of everything that we need to take care of. In the month of August, I did submit 3 applications for other positions within my company. So hopefully when I come back, I can hear some type of good news, just staying positive about it, continue to try to be optimistic about finding a new position. Also manifesting a raise, going into a position that is higher in pay. So hopefully by the end of 2023, I can be making more. My goal is to move to some type of salary position, whereas now I'm hourly. Just the benefits that come with it and extra PTO and just a little bit more flexibility. On top of that, just not wanting to even have to do overtime anymore and just hoping that the amount of money that I'm making still would equal the amount of money that I have been making with overtime. Just all of those things, and hoping that in 2024 I can just be in a completely better headspace, and just hoping that this time in my life is just something I can look back on and acknowledge how hard it was, but ultimately just be thankful that I'm no longer in the position I'm in. On the last day of August, I did have a meeting with my team, which is really just 3 of us plus my manager, so the 4 of us, talking about just the things I've been struggling with, my mental health and things like that. And I was surprised to hear that my direct manager didn't really seem, I guess, aware of how I was feeling. Maybe just thinking that I was looking for other opportunities just to look for other opportunities and not because I was so burnt out in my current position. I don't know if the comments I've been making regarding how I've been feeling have just kind of been taken as not as serious, maybe just, oh, a bad day, or more so like normal day-to-day complaints that you might have at your job, but I guess I hadn't gone in a lot of detail. So I did go in a lot of detail of how I was feeling and just giving them the heads up, basically, that my foot is out the door. I'm taking any opportunity I can, with patience, of course, not rushing into something, but just looking to move into something different real soon. It's hard because, like I said before, I've been doing this for a while. I used to love it. I used to really enjoy what I was doing, and I'm really good at what I do, and I know that I am an asset to the team, the department. But at this point, it's just I'm ready to be an asset someplace else. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is at this point. There's not a whole lot that can be done, or I really just don't see myself, I really don't see anything being done at this point to make me want to stay in the position I'm in. I did mention in this conversation, hey, we've been doing 2 roles. We've basically been doing 2 jobs and we're not getting paid like it. So I definitely brought up the fact that, hey, can you, speak to your higher ups regarding pay? We're working really hard, we're doing a lot, and we're not getting compensated appropriately, in my opinion. And I just feel like it's something that I shouldn't have even had to have mentioned. Should have just been, hey, let's do the right thing and pay these employees for the work that they're doing. And I did say that at this conversation, hey, I'm really not, holding my breath. I'm not expecting more pay or anything like that. I guess I more so said that for you all, in the long run, if you ever have a position or a situation where you have to, again, have employees do 2 jobs, God forbid, take that initiative more so in the future to pay them appropriately, pay them what they're worth. That's more so, I guess, why I'm saying what I'm saying, just another reason just to kind of here's the 99 reasons and here's reason 100 as to why my foot is out the door, really. And here's feedback, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Feedback as far as how things should be handled in the future, just doing the right thing. Anyway, off of that topic, another thing that we had going on in the month of April, back to school time here in our area. School started in mid-August, and actually was our first time dealing with school because we have a kindergartner. I definitely didn't realize that our spending would go up as much as it was, because I felt like we had everything prepared, school supplies, book bags, things like that. But then suddenly my kid is, we're changing their outfits every single day. And then you also want shoes to go with it. And you're going through shoes and I'm these shoes are a little beat up. Let's get rid of those. He needs more shoes, just a lot of things, outfits, preparing for picture day, so many things. And I just didn't realize, I guess, how spending would be for the month of August. Full transparency and accountability for ourselves. We definitely spent more than we would have planned to spend in the month of August, and we accept that, and that's fine. I know that the remainder of 2023, it's probably not going to go as we planned for it to go, on January 1st, and that's fine. It's all a learning experience. there's a way that you'd love for your finances to go and be on budget every single time, but I definitely know that that can't always happen, especially as far as like my mental health. One thing that I've done for a while now when I'm not feeling good mentally or just feeling very down, I'd go as far as to say like depressed. I definitely make up for that, I think, with food. It really just makes me happy, and it's been helping me get my mind off of things. And if you all have been around for a while, you'd know actually last year or earlier this year, I had finished losing 35 pounds. No plans to gain any of that back. I definitely think I have a different mindset as far as just not letting it get to that point now. I've been trying to stay more active still, going on walks and things like that to try to like offset the extra food. I definitely feel like I'm still probably taking in around the same amount of calories. This weekend we did go out to breakfast, but I was just so full from eating so much at breakfast that I didn't eat again until like maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. So definitely still trying to stay on board with how much I'm eating and things like that. But I say all that to say, while I'm still in this position, things that truly just make me happy is just eating what I want to eat and things like that. I'm definitely drawing the line at retail therapy because I know that I've gotten bad with that like last year and things like that. So as much as I love a good Target trip, I'm not gonna do that. I'll stick with food and just eating what I want, making myself happy in that sense, because it's really tough right now for me because work obviously takes so much of our day. Like we work 40 hours a week. So while majority of my time is spent working, and then once I'm off work, I have a 2 and a 6-year-old who it's just chaotic at our house, to keep it short and simple. Lots of yelling, lots of fighting, lots of screaming. Just, we don't really get a break at the end of the day, just to keep it very transparent. So knowing that, I think that that's definitely the two of those things together, mainly work, but then also just the time I have away from work, is I don't really get a break there either. That's where I try to then find comfort in something, food. Anyway, we're going to keep it at a limit still, keep it under control basically, while still finding joy in something at this point. So as you guys know, other things that happened in the month of August, someone cut down our tree. If you didn't already see that video, definitely check that out. But an update on the tree, we got a new tree. The new tree was planted the week that they said it would come, so we're very happy with that. Haven't heard anything else from the company, not expecting a whole lot, but yes, we did get the new tree. I wanted to let you guys know that. I do think a lot of people misunderstood, I guess. I was more so with the previous video asking, of course, what would you guys do? But I think a lot of people leaned into thinking that we had ill intent, and we definitely didn't. Just more so this being our first house and us getting so much advice, even to this day, to lawyer up, lawsuit, look up tree laws, all these things. And so we just want to make sure that, you know, we're doing everything that we can do. I know that you all don't know us personally, like in our everyday life, so you don't know how important it is to me to do the right thing and things like that. I do feel this is a big deal just because one day they could come across somebody. So even if we don't decide to go the route, like the legal route, someday they may come across someone that does. The mistake that they made, I feel, is not okay, because there's certain jobs that you have that you just can't make those types of mistakes. I know that our tree was just planted a few years ago, so it's not as big of a tree, but what if it was a tree that was real big? And that's devastating. So it's the principle at the end of the day, and we never were out to get anyone or out to scam anyone or anything like that. It's just the principle of what happened and the fact that that's not okay. Clearly there's some carelessness going on. So like there's certain things that if mistakes are made, sometimes people just have to pay for the consequences of their actions. And so I was saying, hey, what would you do in this situation? But the vibe that we got a little bit in the comments was just that we had some type of ill intent. And I just want to make it very clear, no ill intent, none of that. But I do appreciate everyone who commented and let us know their thoughts on the situation and understood that we mean well. Another thing we did want to update everyone on, I know this video was a little while ago, and it was this video, and we'll have it linked in the description as well, where we talked about how we were going to be trying out T-Mobile internet. There was a free trial with T-Mobile. We definitely are planning to stick with them, even though we noticed that the internet with T-Mobile It wasn't better than Spectrum. I just felt like Spectrum overall was more reliable. Either way, we were trying to save money, even if this was temporary. So we were still going to cancel services with Spectrum. A few weeks before we tried the trial out with T-Mobile, we had called Spectrum and we asked them, hey, would you guys be willing to price match? Because there is a competitor in our area that is like going for $50 a month. And I believe Spectrum at the time was going for about $70 or $75. They told us no. That was in the conversation. It was a short conversation, short and simple. They said no. So we tried out the trial with T-Mobile. Several things I did not like about T-Mobile, unfortunately. One thing I did not like about T-Mobile was that I guess since they base the internet off of kind of like cellular internet, you have to reference a random phone number that they give you. Like they assign you a random phone number. You have to reference this number every time I call to inquire, which I was calling a lot. They don't even tell you up front. So the first time I'm calling, I'm giving them my number. They're like, that's not in our system. I'm like, how? And finally, after everything was set up, they let us know through the app, like, hey, this is the number that you reference when you call. That's really silly. Then I have to try to memorize another number or have to go dig through my emails every time I call to find this phone number to reference my account. I don't like that. Another thing I didn't like was the day that I had officially activated service, like the next day, they had sent us a bill through email and saying it was due like in 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, if I'm utilizing a free trial, why are you sending me a bill? I really don't understand that. Just like when you sign up for a free trial anywhere, typically, as long as you cancel within a certain amount of time, then no bill is generated. I called them, I asked them about this. They said that nope, T-Mobile was different. They generate the bill right away. If you cancel within the 15 days, I believe it was, then they essentially just credit the account, no bill is due. Way back to the connectivity issues, sometimes we would just end up using our cellular service on our phones because the Wi-Fi wasn't acting the best. Again, we did not have to do that with Spectrum. Whenever I would call, super long hold times, I have to wait for a long time to reach someone, which is super annoying, obviously. Who wants to do that? I was going to stick with T-Mobile even despite these issues, but I called Spectrum to officially cancel. I had kept Spectrum on during this trial period just in case we ran into any issues. Called Spectrum to cancel. At this point, I must have reached their retention department. They were fighting so hard to keep me. It's something that me and Dennis were actually laughing about because like I called with all intentions to cancel service and she fought with me about all this stuff. And I'm like, what about the person who I spoke with a few weeks ago? They said that you guys did not price match. They wouldn't adjust my rate. Oh, they're not in the retention department. And I'm like, well, that's not good enough. You guys need to pull that call. You guys need to coach that person. And I just was just telling her like, I have to return this equipment back to T-Mobile. I didn't expect to have to do this. It's extra work than if I just cancel the Spectrum. Like this person was jumping through hoops to keep me. They ended up giving me a one-time credit for like the following month. So I ended up just paying $40 that month. And then moving forward, it was $50, just like it would have been with T-Mobile. So ultimately I ended up canceling with T-Mobile. So then I called to cancel with T-Mobile. And then I'm like thinking like, hopefully they don't run through the same spiel, but they just easily canceled. And I'm like, well, do I need like confirmation? They're like, you'll get an email. That was the end of that. So they said that you for sure canceled in time, you're good. The most frustrating of the issues that I had with them came after I ended up canceling the service. Shortly later, I got a bill in the mail. They're like, here's your final bill. Even though you canceled, here's your final bill. And I'm like, of course. I ended up contacting T-Mobile on Twitter so I don't have to keep calling them about all these issues. They're like, oh, well, you have to wait 1 to 2 months for the credit to go onto your account. And she like sends me this link of their cancellation policy. I'm like, by the way, ma'am, do you see there's nothing in this link that you sent me saying that I need to wait 1 to 2 months? Anyway, she said she was going to end up following up on the account within the next few days or so to make sure it was zeroed out or something. Honestly, I wasn't happy with that, but what am I gonna do? So I ended up reaching back out a short time later, like, hey, is the account zeroed out now? It was zeroed out. Still makes me nervous because they can't like send you like a bill that says zero at that point. I believe that I ended up getting even another bill, but I think it may have clashed with the dates. So I plan to like send something back to them like screenshots of these Twitter messages, but I ended up just getting sidetracked and not doing it. And then I did finally get another bill, literally as of like September 1st, not a bill, but confirmation that the balance is zero. It actually says that we have a credit now for whatever reason. I'm not dealing with it at this point, whatever. I'm not looking for a credit, just want the account zeroed out. So it really put a bad taste in my mouth about T-Mobile. Just makes me not want to do business with them like at all again, like ever, honestly, at this point, because it seems so scammy in the first place that I even got a bill a couple of days after we activated service, and then having to jump through all these hoops. It's just not something that I want to participate in. So that's just my personal experience with T-Mobile. Obviously, everyone else is definitely subject to have a different experience. That was our month of August. I'm definitely hoping that September is a better month for me in multiple different aspects. As a whole, I'm definitely hoping that I can get good news whenever I return back to work. Definitely hoping and praying for a better position to come my way very soon. And looking forward to our balance continuing to decrease. But definitely comment down below, let me know what you all would do in my position as far as like the job situation. Is there anything that you guys feel like I could do better, or even more communication with my boss? I really don't know. I hope that I'm being as professional as possible, because I definitely don't blame my manager at all. They've been great throughout the whole process overall. I would have to say they have. And obviously, I've already said I do feel a little guilty even about having to leave, but definitely just have to choose myself, just with me being so stressed out, just down, upset, sad. But definitely appreciate you watching today's video. If you are not already subscribed, please subscribe, and we will see you in our next video. So from August 1st to the end of the month, we brought our mortgage balance from 100